Welcome to English Story Collection. Emma was 13 years old, and she did not like books. Not one bit. Books were slow. Books were heavy. Books had no sound, no color, and no little red hearts at the bottom of the screen. Her phone had everything: games, videos, music, friends. Every morning she woke up and reached for it before she even opened both eyes. "Why read a book," she always said, "when you can just watch a video about it?" Her friends laughed, her teacher sighed, and her grandmother said nothing at all, which was somehow worse. Emma's grandmother was called Rosa. She was 71. She lived in a small flat full of plants, and every wall of that flat had a shelf, and every shelf was full of books. Rosa never told Emma to read. She never said that books were good for her. She only said one strange sentence, again and again, always with the same small smile: "A book can go where your phone cannot." Emma hated that sentence. It sounded like a riddle with no answer. "Where?" she asked once. "Where can it go?" Rosa only shrugged. "You will see, or you will not. That is up to you." That summer, Emma's parents decided that the family needed a holiday without screens. A tent, a lake, a forest. 2 weeks, no hotel, no Wi-Fi, no shops. Emma thought it was a joke. It was not a joke. She fought hard. She explained, very slowly, that a person could actually die of boredom. Her mother said that this had never been proved. Her father laughed. The bags went into the car anyway. The evening before they left, Rosa came to say goodbye. She hugged Emma for a long time. Then she picked up Emma's backpack, opened it, and quietly put something inside, just in case, she said. Emma did not look. She was too busy being angry at the whole world. The drive took 5 hours. The last hour was on a narrow road between tall, dark trees. Emma watched the bars on her phone go from 4 to 2 to 1 to none. When the road ended, there was a lake. It was long and quiet, and the color of gray silver, and the hills on the far side stood upside down in the water. Emma did not want to admit that it was beautiful, so she said nothing at all. They put up the tent. Her father made a fire. Her mother cooked something in a black pot that tasted much better than it looked. Then the sun went down, and it got dark in a way that cities never get dark. Emma held her dead phone in her hand like a small, cold stone. The first night was the longest night of her life. There was nothing to do. Nothing at all. She counted the poles of the tent. She listened to an owl. She listened to her father snoring, which was much worse than the owl. By the second day, she was so bored that she cleaned the whole camp without being asked. Her mother almost fainted. On the second night, she finally opened her backpack all the way down to the bottom, looking for anything at all. Her hand touched something hard and flat and heavy. It was a book. It was old. The cover was dark blue, and the corners were soft from 100 hands. The title said, "Marina and the Sea Road." Emma almost put it back. A book. Of course, very funny, Grandma. But there was nothing else. No games, no videos, no friends. Only the fire, and the lake, and this old blue thing in her hands. She opened it, mostly to prove to herself that it would be boring. The first sentence was, "On the morning she ran away, Marina took 3 things: bread, a knife, and a map that was wrong." Emma read the second sentence. Then the third. Marina was 15. She lived in a fishing village where every day was exactly the same as the day before. One winter, a stranger left a map in her father's boat, and Marina decided to follow it. The map was wrong, of course. That was the whole point of it. The roads on it did not exist anymore. The towns had different names now. But Marina went anyway. Emma read about storms, and about a dog with one ear, and about a night in a train station when Marina had no money, and no food, and no idea where she was. And somewhere in the middle of chapter 4, something very strange happened. Emma forgot the lake. She forgot the tent. She forgot that she was bored. She even forgot the phone in her pocket. When she looked up, the fire was almost out, and her whole family was asleep. The next morning, Emma took the book down to the water and sat on a flat, warm stone. That was when she noticed the writing. It was in the margin, in the white space at the side of page 61. Small, careful letters, in blue ink. It said, "This is exactly how I felt at the station that night. Nobody in the world knew where I was, and I was not afraid." Emma stopped. Somebody had written in the book. Somebody had written in a book, which she had always been told was a terrible crime. She turned the pages faster. There were more notes, dozens of them. On page 80, "Marina is braver than me." On page 94, I read this part 4 times. On page 110, next to a line about the sea, 2 words only, "one day." At the very front, on the inside of the cover, there was a name and a date. The name was Rosa. The date was 58 years ago. Emma sat very still. Her grandmother had been 13 once. Her grandmother had been bored once. Her grandmother had held these exact pages and had written in them in blue ink, like a girl passing notes in class. Now she read everything, not only the story. It was like having 2 books at the same time. One was written by a stranger. The other was written by a girl who would one day become her grandmother. Some notes were funny. The dog is the best character in this book. Some were sad. Mama would like this page. And some she did not understand at all. Then, near the end, on page 203, she found a note that was different. It was longer than the others. The ink was darker, as if the pen had been pressed very hard into the paper. It said, "August. Same lake as always. If somebody is reading this one day, go to the big gray stone at the north end of the water, where the 2 pine trees lean together. Look under it. I left something there for you." Emma read it 4 times. Then she lifted her eyes to the lake in front of her and felt something cold run all the way down her back. At breakfast, she tried to sound normal. "Mom, have we been to this lake before?" Her mother looked up, surprised. "Of course we have. Grandma brought me here every summer when I was small. Her family came here long before that. Why do you ask?" Emma did not answer. Her heart was going very, very fast. The north end of the lake was a 40-minute walk. She told her parents that she wanted to go for a walk alone. And her father was so happy that she wanted to do anything at all that he said yes immediately. She walked along the water with the old blue book under her arm. There were stones everywhere. Gray stones, brown stones, small ones, enormous ones. After 20 minutes, she began to feel silly. 58 years. Trees fall down. Water rises. People forget. Whatever a 13-year-old girl had hidden here, the forest had probably eaten it long ago. Then she came around a corner of the shore, and she saw them. 2 tall pine trees, growing so close together that near the top they leaned against each other, like 2 old friends sharing a secret. And under them, half in the water, there was a big gray stone. Emma put the book down carefully on the grass. The stone was heavy, far heavier than she had expected. She pushed. Nothing happened. She pushed again, with her shoulder, with her feet against a root, and slowly, unwillingly, it moved. Underneath there was wet earth, and worms, and nothing else. Emma's eyes filled with tears, and she was surprised at herself. She had not wanted anything this much for a very long time. She dug anyway, first with her hands, then with a flat piece of wood. 20 centimeters down, the wood hit metal. It was a small tin box, the kind that once held sweets. The colors on the lid were almost gone. She had to hit it 3 times against the stone before it agreed to open. Inside there was a piece of cloth. Inside the cloth there was a folded page, and an old train ticket, and a flat dried flower that turned to dust the moment she touched it. The page was covered in the same small, careful letters, in the same blue ink. To whoever finds this, it said, "My name is Rosa. I am 13 years old. I am sitting under these 2 trees, and my family thinks that I am collecting wood for the fire. I am not brave like Marina. I have never been anywhere in my life. But I have decided something today, and I am writing it down here so that later I cannot pretend that I did not. I am going to see the sea road, all of it. And when I am old, I am going to come back to this stone and read this page again and laugh at how frightened I was. If you are reading this instead of me, then something went wrong or something went right. Either way, please do one thing for me. Do not wait as long as I did to start." Under that there was one more line, in different ink, added many years later. The letters were bigger and less careful, the handwriting of an adult in a hurry. "I came back. 1994. I did see it, Rosa." Emma sat under the 2 pine trees with a rusty box on her knees and cried, and then laughed, and then read the whole page again from the beginning. She did not tell her parents. Not yet. Some things are not ready to be words. For the rest of the holiday, Emma read. She finished Marina and the Sea Road on the 9th night, sitting by the fire while everyone else slept. When she closed it, she felt the way you feel when a good friend leaves on a train. Then she read her mother's book about mountains, because it was the only other book in the camp. Then she read it a second time. On the last morning, she borrowed a pen. On page 203, just under her grandmother's dark blue note, she wrote her own, in small, careful letters. August, 58 years later. I found it. Emma, 13. Then she carried the tin box back to the 2 pines and buried it again under the stone, with a new page inside, and a photograph, and a short letter for whoever comes next. They drove home. Somewhere on that narrow road between the tall, dark trees, the bars came back on her phone. 1, 2, 4. 216 messages arrived, all at the same time. Emma looked at them for a while. Then she put the phone in her bag, at the very bottom, under everything else. That evening she went straight to Rosa's flat. She did not even say hello. She simply put the old blue book on the table, open at page 203. Rosa looked at the page for a long time. Her hand went up to her mouth. She sat down slowly in her chair. "You went," she said. It was not a question. "I went," said Emma. Rosa laughed, and it was the laugh of a 13-year-old girl coming out of a 71-year-old woman. 58 years, she said quietly. "I was starting to think that nobody ever would. You knew it was still there." "I hoped." Rosa touched the blue cover with 2 fingers. "I gave this book to your mother when she was 14. She never got past chapter 1. I gave it to my brother, and he lost it for 20 years. And then this summer I looked at you, with that little bright screen in your face, and I thought, one more time." "Why me?" asked Emma. "Because you were bored," said Rosa. "Bored is where every good story starts." They sat together until it was completely dark, and Rosa told her about the sea road, and the trains, and the year when she had almost no money at all. Emma listened for 3 hours without once looking at her pocket. Now, Emma still has a phone. This is not a story about a girl who throws her phone into a lake. That girl does not exist. But there is always a book in her bag, under everything else, flat and heavy, waiting. Because a book does not need electricity. A book does not need a signal, or a charger, or a socket in the wall. And here's the part that people miss. A book can wait. It can wait 58 years under 2 pine trees, patient as a stone, until the right bored person finally opens it. A book can go where your phone cannot. Grandmother Rosa was right. She usually was.